Have you ever felt like you're just stuck? Like you're running on a treadmill, putting in all the effort, but going absolutely nowhere? You wake up, you go to work, you come home, you scroll through your phone, you go to sleep, and then you do it all over again. That was Arjun's life. He wasn't unhappy, not exactly, but he wasn't happy either. He was just there, existing. He saw his friends getting promotions, traveling the world, starting families, and he felt a pang of something he couldn't quite name. It was a mix of envy and a deep, hollow feeling that his own life was passing him by. Every Sunday, Arjun would tell himself, this week will be different. He'd make grand plans. He was going to start hitting the gym 5 days a week, learn Spanish, read a book every week, and start a side business. And every Monday, reality would hit. He'd snooze his alarm, grab a sugary coffee on the way to a job he felt lukewarm about. And by the time he got home, he was too exhausted to do anything but collapse on the couch and binge-watch another series. The gym membership card gathered dust in his wallet. The Spanish language app remained unopened, and the books on his nightstand served as expensive coasters. The cycle of ambition and inaction left him feeling more defeated than ever. He felt like a failure before he even began. One rainy Tuesday evening, while mindlessly scrolling through videos, he stumbled upon something different. It wasn't about massive life overhauls or 10 steps to becoming a millionaire. Overnight, it was a simple video about the concept, a Japanese philosophy that focuses on continuous, small, incremental improvements. The idea wasn't to climb the entire mountain in one day. The idea was just to take one single step, just one. This resonated with Arjun in a way nothing else had. It didn't feel overwhelming. It felt possible. So, he decided to try it. He wasn't going to try to change everything at once. He was going to pick one thing, just one. And he was going to make it ridiculously easy. He decided on reading. His goal wasn't to read a book a week. His goal was to read one single page before bed. That's it. One page. It seemed almost silly, but he committed to it. The first night, he read a page. It took him less than 2 minutes. The second night, he did it again. By the end of the week, he had read 7 pages. It wasn't much, but it was 7 more pages than he'd read in the past 6 months. And something strange happened. He started to feel a tiny spark of pride. After a couple of weeks of reading 1 page a night, he noticed he was often reading 2 or 3 pages without even thinking about it. He was getting into the story. He finished his first book in a month and a half. For the first time in a long time, he felt a sense of accomplishment. He had set a goal, no matter how small, and he had achieved it. This small win gave him the confidence to apply the one-step rule to another area of his life: fitness. He didn't sign up for a marathon or commit to a brutal workout routine. His goal was to do one push-up every morning when he got out of bed. Just one. Again, it felt almost pointless. What could one push-up possibly do? But he did it every single morning. One push-up. After a week, he thought, well, I'm already down here. I might as well do two. Soon, 2 became 5, and 5 became 10. It was no longer a chore. It was just part of his morning routine, like brushing his teeth. He started adding a few sit-ups, then some squats. He wasn't a bodybuilder, but he felt stronger. He had more energy. His clothes started to fit a little better. The momentum was building. Arjun applied this philosophy to his work. Instead of trying to tackle huge, intimidating projects all at once, he started breaking them down. His new goal was to spend just 15 minutes each morning organizing his tasks for the day before he even opened his email. This small change was transformative. He felt more in control, less reactive. His focus improved, and his boss started to notice the higher quality of his work. He wasn't working harder. He was working smarter. Those 15 minutes of planning saved him hours of wasted effort and stress throughout the day. Next, he turned to that long-forgotten goal of learning Spanish. He didn't pressure himself to study for an hour every day. He used a language app and set a goal to complete just one lesson, which took about 5 minutes during his coffee break. Just 5 minutes. It was a tiny island of productivity in his day. He learned a few new words, a new phrase. Over weeks and months, those 5-minute lessons added up. He started listening to Spanish music on his commute. He switched the language settings on his phone to Spanish for an hour a day. One day, he surprised himself by understanding a conversation in a Spanish movie without looking at the subtitles. It was a thrilling moment. Months passed, and when Arjun looked in the mirror, he saw a different person. It wasn't just the physical changes, the weight he'd lost, or the better posture. It was in his eyes. The dull, vacant look was gone, replaced by a spark of confidence and purpose. His life hadn't magically transformed overnight. There was no lottery win, no sudden promotion out of the blue. His transformation was the result of hundreds of tiny, almost invisible decisions he made every single day. One page of a book, one push-up, 15 minutes of planning, 5 minutes of Spanish. Each small action was like a single vote for the person he wanted to become. Each one was a promise he kept to himself, building a foundation of self-trust and discipline, brick by brick. His friends noticed the change. He was more present in conversations, more energetic, more optimistic. He started suggesting hikes on weekends instead of just meeting for drinks. He was sharing interesting things he'd read and trying out his new Spanish phrases. He was no longer just existing. He was living. He was actively creating the life he wanted, one small step at a time. The beauty of this approach was that it bypassed the part of his brain that resisted change. The goals were too small to argue with, too easy to procrastinate on. There's no good reason not to read one page or do one push-up. And by consistently achieving these tiny goals, he rewired his brain to associate action with reward, creating a positive feedback loop that fueled further growth. He learned that motivation doesn't just appear out of nowhere. Motivation is the result of action, not the cause of it. You don't wait until you feel like it. You just do it, and the feeling follows. Arjun's story is a powerful reminder that you don't need to make drastic, sweeping changes to transform your life. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment, the right mood, or a sudden burst of motivation. All you need is to start. Start small, ridiculously small. What is one tiny, almost laughably easy thing you can do today that your future self will thank you for? Maybe it's drinking one glass of water as soon as you wake up. Maybe it's putting your phone away for the last 10 minutes before you go to sleep. Maybe it's writing down one thing you're grateful for. Whatever it is, just do that one thing. And then do it again tomorrow. Don't worry about the destination. Just focus on taking that next small step. Because those small steps, compounded over time, are what lead to extraordinary transformations. They are the secret to getting unstuck and building a life you are genuinely excited to live. Arjun's journey shows us that the power to change our lives does unlie in a future grand gesture, but in the small, consistent choices we make right now. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments what one small step you're going to take today. And do not forget to like this video and subscribe for more content to help you build a life you love. We'll see you in the next one.